What's up, GENNOW? Hope you guys are doing good. Hey, I want to continue in talking about our series on family. So most of you have gone through changes, and that's probably an understatement, right? We change all the time. I'm sure you don't listen to the same music that you listened to in 5th grade. I'm sure your wardrobe looks different than when you were in the 3rd grade, and I'm sure you look different than when you did when you were a little kid. See, oftentimes we go through changes in our life that are expected, like our likes or our dislikes change, the sports we're into, or the types of instruments we play, or the clothes that we wear change. But then there are other things, unexpected changes, that are harder to deal with. Things like when our friendships change. Like we were close with someone, but now our relationship just doesn't look the same anymore. Or maybe our friend group has changed because man, they started to ditch us or talk behind our backs, and now, well, it's just time to move on and find a new group. Or maybe your location changed, like mom or dad got a new job and so you guys moved to a new state. Or maybe you're at a new school this year, or maybe you recently moved to a new church and you're quickly finding that navigating landing in a new place isn't as easy as you thought it might have been. See, oftentimes those changes, the unexpected changes, are harder to deal with, aren't they? And I think that's true especially when it comes to family. Because here's the deal, when we go through unexpected changes or seasons of change, we look for something stable and secure that we can run to, a safe place, whether that be some person or place or group or team that we belong to. And so for some of us, family has been that safe and stable and secure place. And for other of us, that's not been the case at all. But regardless, it seems like we have this idea, whether it's something that we've just always grown up believing or something we've learned from somewhere, we have this idea that family is supposed to be constant. And the reality is, as we continue to go throughout life, we realize that just as things change in life, so does family. So maybe your family has recently moved, and that's a big change. Maybe you have a sibling who's moving out of the house or going to college, and that's a big change. Maybe you're splitting time between parents' houses, and that's a change. Maybe your parents are no longer together, and that's a change. Maybe you've lost someone close in your family, and that's a change. And see, when these unexpected situations and changes happen in our family, it can be really hard to know how to respond. So if change is this inevitable part of life, how do we enter into change in a way that doesn't put us in a rut or doesn't make us get angry or cynical or frustrated at the world? How do we do change well? Where there's this passage in the book of Isaiah that I want to read to us because I think it will shed some light on this. But God is talking to his people in this passage. And he's talking to them during a time where everything has been kind of taken away from them. A time where things are unsteady, where they've been shaken, where things have been massively changed. And in the midst of this context, God says this to his people, and I want to read it to you. Isaiah 43:1. But now, O Jacob, listen to the Lord who created you. O Israel, the one who formed you says, do not be afraid, for I have ransomed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. Now I'm sure that people who first heard this were shocked. It probably came as such a comfort to them to know that God had not abandoned them. Even though what they were going through was crazy and strange and difficult, that God had not abandoned them. In fact, he was with them in the midst of it. Sometimes it's hard for us to really trust and believe that God is with us in the midst of our pain, in the midst of our difficulty, especially when it comes to changes with family. But when your family changes, your mindset matters. When your family changes, your mindset matters. And here's what I mean by this. Change in your family is inevitable. If it hasn't happened, it's going to come. And it may look a lot different than you think it's even going to look like. But when your family changes, your mindset matters because you can choose to look outside of yourself. Here's what I mean by that. When you're going through something difficult with your family, it's important to remember that you aren't the only one being affected by what's happening or by the change. Maybe you have a parent or a sibling or multiple siblings who are going through the same thing. But if you have a mindset that is able to look around at the situation and see that other people are hurting as well or going through the change as well, you can step in and offer help and offer love and be there for those people. Your mindset also matters because you can choose to trust that God is with you even when you don't feel it. I know that trust doesn't always come easy, and especially in seasons that are tough. It's not easy to trust. But our mindset can change when we choose to put our trust that God is with us in the midst of it. And then 3, your mindset matters when your family changes because you can actually choose to believe that God is going to use the change that's happening in your life to change. Doesn't mean that everything is going to be magically better, but God can use the change to work in you. I hope you guys have a great week, and we're praying for you. We'll see you guys later.